So I wanted to take a few minutes with this video to talk about 3 interesting PlayStation 5 stories, and if you could hit that like button on the video, thank you to those that do it, and as always, it's very much appreciated. Now, the stories I wanted to dive into today includes the potential reboot of the Jak and Daxter franchise. Horizon 2 reviews are out, and man, some of these reviews, we'll talk about it in a sec, and a classic PlayStation horror title is potentially set to get a remake. First, are you picking up Horizon 2 Forbidden West this Friday or not? We're in the final stretch with Horizon 2 finally almost here. It's crazy to think we're just days away. It's going to feel the same when God of War Ragnarok is set to release as well. I'm excited, but that's just me. I've got my game preloaded and ready, but what about you guys? Are you picking up Horizon 2 Forbidden West this Friday or not? Let me know down in the comments below. Now, diving into the first story of the video, the Horizon 2 reviews. We'll dive into a high review, a mid review, and a low review just to get a sense of what's going on here. The low reviews are small, a small amount of them. It's always like this. There's always a small amount of like really low, surprisingly low reviews. We'll talk about one of them here and just my confusion with the review score based on what they're saying. But let's dive into the first one here, coming from Game Informer. I'm taking pieces of the article, not the full article. You can read it in the description. I'll have it linked, but let's go ahead. Horizon Zero Dawn was just the introduction to Guerrilla Games' fascinating world and the unlikely hero who would do everything in her power to save it. The sequel, Horizon Forbidden West, takes everything to an exciting new level with its novel mechanics and riveting lore. Guerrilla Games improves on the last game's shortcomings and isn't afraid to borrow popular features from other big-name series like Uncharted, Mass Effect, and Assassin's Creed. The result is a game that's not only fun to play, but full of surprises and wonder. Zero Dawn was a great proof of concept, but Horizon Forbidden West shows Guerrilla Games still has plenty of thought-provoking and compelling places to take Aloy's adventures. Guerrilla's writers expertly expanded upon Horizon's rich lore and dive into the series' sci-fi elements, which are the sequel's most gripping aspects. Some of the most fun I had was piecing together Aloy's journey, but certain revelations and aha moments aren't as satisfying without the full context from the first game. The overall narrative kept me engaged, but certain parts feel rushed. I was disappointed that villainous characters like Regala are not given more time to shine. In the last entry, Aloy's adventure was often solitary, but Forbidden West makes other characters central to her success, which is a nice change of pace. Returning faces like Varl and Erend get to show more of their personalities, and newcomers like King-Hearted Zoe and tragic warrior Katalo have interesting backstories that explain their tribe's beliefs and values. The world is the star of the show. Forbidden West is a technical marvel with breathtaking vistas, vibrant underwater corridors, and lush jungles. Every locale has its own flavor. Just wait until you see Las Vegas. Traversal has been greatly improved with smoother climbing mechanics and a new tool called the Shield Wing, which acts almost like a futuristic umbrella to let you descend from great heights. However, the world's constant sense of discovery really had me glued to the controller. Forbidden West is a much bigger game than its predecessor, featuring an impressive number of quests and items to uncover. The story-focused side quests add so much to the lore that I never wanted to miss one, as they provided great insight to the tribes. One side quest forced me to pick between two imperfect characters vying to lead a tribe, while another had me battling the most vicious combination of machines flying on top of a Sunhawk. So Sunhawk flying confirmed here. Battles are still adrenaline pumping affairs, and the satisfaction of besting monstrous machines never dissipates. You can expect more destructibility and bigger set pieces for fights, and I loved how the variety in the locales and fighting in close quarters to rocky areas with plenty of places for cover kept things fresh with new strategies to consider. Forbidden West allows you to embrace your own playstyle, offering many ways to get the upper hand on machines. This has its advantages and disadvantages. I loved the creativity at my disposal, like shooting weapons off machines and using them against the enemy, or causing chain reactions with specific elements to cause big explosions. but at the same time, I never felt a growing sense of power that kept combat interesting over time. And a lot of this comes down to my disappointment in the skill trees. The abilities you learn via the skill trees feel more like tiny perks than exciting upgrades. The best addition to the skill trees is Valor Surges, which are special attacks you tactfully unleash. I wish there were more of these abilities to experiment with, because once I unlocked and fully upgraded the Radial Blast, which triggers a powerful AoE shockwave, I never found another that felt as valuable. Thankfully, the full game is full of worthwhile improvements that make for a better experience, from a cleaner HUD to less inventory management. Horizon Forbidden West reaches a new high bar for Guerrilla Games. It does more than surpasses its predecessor. It takes Horizon's fiction to captivating places and builds a rich world that rewards you for the effort you put in. Mostly, it's an entertaining experience, complete with jaw-dropping moments and unforgettable fights. So this one definitely has a lot to take in. What I took away is that there's a great story, side quests are greatly improved upon and have good rewards. The upgrade system didn't feel as impactful for this person since they got a specific unlock that they kept just using, which reminds me a bit of the first Horizon. I kind of stuck with using the bow most of the time and not a lot of the other weapons. Again, to each their own. The world is a big highlight, with it being a technical marvel and visuals, and a lot of land to explore with greatly improved traversal. This part here makes me happy, the traversal part. You can also fly Sunhawks. This should be interesting. I'm excited to see how that works. It seems to be a big improvement over the first game. Game Informer here gave it a 9.25 out of 10. Now let's move over to website The Gamer. Horizon Forbidden West is, for better or worse, just Horizon Zero Dawn, but bigger. For some people, that will be enough. I expect when the embargo lifts, this review will find itself nestled amongst some perfect scores, and I can understand why. Horizon Forbidden West is fun and it's pretty, but with so many open world titles coming along since Zero Dawn, I hope the series might get better, not just bigger. Forbidden West begins with a stumble. Right from the very first quest, the stakes revolve around the world, the end of the world as we know it, and it's just difficult to care. Horizon has built a fascinating world, but it's now 2 for 2 on going way too big and losing us all in the process. Not only are the stakes too big for us to relate to or connect with, but the opening exchanges expect you to remember all the characters from the first game, like who, which one were they again, and oh yeah, them. This is another issue with going bigger. It doesn't fix the faults, it doubles down on them. I loved Horizon Zero Dawn. It seems to have come in for a critical reevaluation since the tidal wave of acclaim it was hit with at launch, but it remains one of my favorite titles of the PS4 era. It only had 2 serious faults for me. The story was weak and the whole game engaged in Native American cosplay. Forbidden West just needed to overcome those faults, but it succumbs to them both. So I want to comment on this. Why wouldn't you care about the end of the world? That was literally the cliffhanger of the first game, but I guess this person just didn't like the story of the first game, so why would they care about the story now? But whatever. Let's continue here. Of course, the good things get bigger too. To the smallest nut and bolt, the new machines are superb. If you think they've showed off their aces in the trailers so far, you're in for a shock. The machine designs were fantastic in Zero Dawn, and this is a major area that benefits from the same again, but bigger. I don't want to spoil the surprises in store, so stick with the creature we've already seen. The Slitherfang, the huge snake unveiled back in December, probably wouldn't make the top 5 in my personal rankings of new machines. Every single battle is brilliant, and I can't wait for people to discover them so I can talk about them. Many are hidden away from missions too, as very violent rewards for those willing to explore. I was consciously wandering away from the mission markers every time a new one appeared in order to get into meaningless fights. Is this what football hooligans feels like? Because I get it now. I walked everywhere instead of riding so I wouldn't miss a single skirmish. I needed to slay every machine, and you will too. The new weapons perfectly fit into Aloy's fighting style, which is now even more dynamic, while elemental weapons can now leave status effects and can be chained together. Ice weapons used to freeze machines, but now melee is more effective once they turn brittle. Fire-breathing machines can be drenched and extinguished with water weapons. There's something very fun about equipping a water slingshot because it feels like Aloy Aloy is just pranking her enemies with water balloons. The corrosive attacks quickly became my favorite though, because it was so satisfying to see their metal flesh sizzle, sear, and melt. Traversal has not improved as much as the fighting, but it's still better. The glider is a fantastic addition, as are the various tools Aloy picks up to grant her quicker traversal or better access to new areas. The idea that you can climb anywhere is misleading though. In practice, it's not too different from Zero Dawn. As improved as it may be on paper, if you're expecting to be zipping around San Francisco though, maybe check your expectations. Even rushing through the story, you're talking 20 hours before you even get to see it. People are going to play this game and have a lot of fun. That's all people want from a game, and Forbidden West delivers. Through a certain lens, it deserves the perfect scores I'm expecting to see, but much like Ghost of Tsushima, a lot of you are going to come away disappointed by the lack of substance and new ideas. In many ways, Horizon Forbidden West is like its own machines. It's grand, it's gorgeous, but it has no soul. So the last part here, for me though, it's a different of opinion. If this person was disappointed in Ghost of Tsushima, we greatly differ. I personally also liked Zero Dawn's story, so this is also a place where we differ. They didn't like the story here for Zero Dawn. It's great to hear they love the combat, and it has a bit of contrast compared to Eurogamer. This person used a variety of weapons, while Eurogamer, they just stuck with one that they like to use. Again, to each their own. Traversal has me worried here, but the point being made is that you don't get all the traversal items early enough. Personally, I doubt it takes 20 hours to get the zip line, considering the devs said the entire game takes roughly the same amount of time as Zero Dawn. If you're focused on the main story, clearly this person stayed away from the main story and spent a lot of time on foot and fighting monsters. That's probably why it took so long for them to get the zip line or all the traversal items. The gamer here gave the game an 8 out of 10. And now let's move over to one of the low scores. This one here is from The Telegraph. Horizon Zero Dawn rightly earned plaudits for its thrilling gladiatorial battles between woman and machine, but it's often overlooked just how much that kinetic core combat loop masked more mundane open world gameplay tropes, with heroine Aloy filling time between missions, scaling towers to reveal the cribbed location of puzzle dungeons, bandit camps, caches of collectibles, and other familiar activities liberally lifted from Ubisoft's early set text. Second time around, raging against the machines remains an undeniably visceral joy, but it no longer possesses the shock of the new. So how best to rekindle that spark? Perhaps inevitably Dutch developers Guerrilla Games' go-to solution is scale, and lots of it. Almost every facet of Forbidden West has been exponentially enlarged, elongated, or less charitably padded out. So this review really continues to point out the combat is great, the world is massive and technically impressive, but their biggest gripe is the overwhelming amount of things to do. It's too much going on, especially for someone who feels the need to finish every quest like the reviewer here. That's why they were overwhelmed. They also felt the story became convoluted. They ended off the review saying, fans will lap it up, of course, and rightly so. Horizon Forbidden West offers much more of the things they loved about the first game, and does more things better as well as bigger. But while there's a lot of things to like here, it's a harder game to love, like a band who goes for extraneous instrumentals and showy solos over memorable choruses. One can't help but want tad less filler and a touch more killer. So this person really loves to use these words that, I don't know, it's a weird way of speaking. This whole article here for the review is a weird way of speaking. So I'll say on this part, for most people, they're going to finish the main campaign and not feel the need to do everything like this person did, which I can get. At some point, it starts to feel too much and too much of the same. Every open world game out there has this at some point. The thing that's weird about this review is the 6 out of 10. You felt overwhelmed and didn't like the story, and that's a 6. For the overwhelmed part, you could have just not tried to do everything, but that's just how I personally see it. Regardless, everyone, of course, has their own opinion. This is just how this person felt. Overall, the game is sitting at an 89 with mainly positive reviews. That's a good start, and I can't wait for personally for me, I can't wait for Friday to finally start this myself. And now diving into the second story of the video, a Jak and Daxter reboot. Reading from Digital Trends, Sony's eyeing another one of its iconic video game franchises for a TV or movie adaptation, Jak and Daxter. Uncharted director Ruben Fleischer confirmed that he's currently working with PlayStation on an adaptation of the platformer. I'm actually working on a Jak and Daxter, a version of that for PlayStation, which I think would be really cool to bring to life, Fleischer told Digital Trends in an interview promoting Uncharted. So this is interesting, especially since Tom Holland said he wants to be in a Jak and Daxter movie. Not sure how that would work. Regardless, the part I care more about is the possibility of a new game, with Sony pushing for this releasing a game alongside a movie or TV show thing like they did with Uncharted, with the Uncharted Legacy of Thieves collection. This part here has me hopeful. I want this to get made mainly because of the possibility of a Jak and Daxter reboot. But you guys let me know if you want a Jak and Daxter reboot or not. The answer better be yes. You really have no choice here, actually. And now diving into the final story of the video, a classic horror PlayStation title set to return. Reading from comicbook.com, news of a potential Until Dawn remake comes from account NGT on Twitter, which has previously had a number of inside scoops related to upcoming games. Although details were sparse, a new tweet from the account today suggested Supermassive Games is looking to return to the title in a new capacity at some point in the future. From what I've heard from several separate sources, in addition to their new game, Supermassive Games is reportedly working on a remake of Until Dawn for some time that will be coming to current gen consoles, the tweet read. So the part that's interesting here is for current gen consoles, since Until Dawn is a PlayStation exclusive title. Do they mean current gen as in PS4 and 5? Because that would be weird, since the game released originally on the PlayStation 4. If the game is coming back, it's coming to the PlayStation 5, and it'll probably be a remaster similar to Legacy of Thieves for PlayStation 5 with DualSense 3D audio, the works, or it could be a complete up to down remake. We'll see how that goes. But you guys let me know if you played Until Dawn or not. Let me know down in the comments below. And if you guys did enjoy this video, please hit that like button, as it always helps, and subscribe if you're new. I got new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And now I'll check you guys out on the next one. And welcome back to the after show. This is the part of the video where we have a little fun down in the comments below. If you're old, welcome back. If you're new, welcome. For today's thing, what I want you guys to do is to body, obliterate, destroy, and overall harass the comment section with the big Horizon 2 week. Obviously, Horizon 2 Forbidden West releases this Friday. I'm excited. If you are as well, destroy the comment section with the big Horizon 2 week. And I'll definitely heart those comments like I always do, because I appreciate everybody who stays to the end of my videos. And now I'll check you guys out on the next one.